Yeah, long time no see.
It's been a while, huh?
I know, it has been a while. Oh, my goodness.
But you know what? We had our banquet. So
We did, yep. A much-needed week off. Great banquet, by the way. Wonderful food. We honored the best of the best from all around the Bay Area.
Yep.
We awarded just over $43,000 worth of scholarships for
amazing
athletes overcoming adversity, volunteer award winners.
Yep.
It was just a wonderful banquet that we were able to put together, and all thanks to Valley Christian for hosting it.
And High Five Catering for providing the food for everyone. You know, it was great. It ran really, really smoothly, which is that's something that I've been here for 10 years. The videos were
Smooth operator.
Oh. I haven't heard that song in a long time.
Yeah, I just heard that this morning.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, just scrolling through Instagram.
That's
all it was. That's all it was. Welcome to the Cover Cal High podcast. I'm your host Jake Vanderbrook, alongside Adrian Soriano. The postseason, we have had chaos, and I mean chaos. We've had surprises. We've had upsets. We've had some blowouts, but at the end of the day, we've also had some wonderful games.
Yep.
But we already have teams that have already won their section.
That's right.
So the City League title, we got to go back to 2 weeks ago. Back on our podcast a few weeks ago, we were going through that Lincoln-Lowell showdown at Oracle Park. Adrian, you did pick Lowell.
I did, and I was wrong. You know. Hey, shout out to Lincoln, man. You guys proved me wrong. At the end of the day, a win is a win is a win, and they're moving on to the NorCal playoffs next week. So
yeah, and this was a game where Lincoln went on to win 4-1. It was a great game, by the way.
It was a great game.
It was a great game, and this reminded me of the 2022 City League title.
I was about to say,
and it wasn't Lincoln at the time; it was Washington. And just all throughout the season, it was Lowell dominating. They won the regular season, and they swept Washington 3-0. And then you get to the City League final, and it's played at Oracle Park. I mean, this is where it all counts, right?
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
is all for the marbles, because most likely you win this game, you punch your ticket to NorCal, and if you don't, you're
pretty
out.
much done, yeah.
You're pretty much done. So really, I'm thinking to myself, some of those games were pretty close between Lincoln and Lowell in the beginning of the regular season.
That's right.
And hey, look what they did. 1-1 going in the top of the 7th, and Lincoln was able to deliver.
And, congratulations to Coach James Burke and those Lincoln Mustangs, man. Hey, that's baseball, dude. That is baseball. Anything can happen, sometimes the ball falls your way, sometimes it doesn't. And that's the way it is.
Yeah, Branson, Durrington, complete game. 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, 3 hits, 3 walks. He was in his A game.
Yeah, and at a time when they really, really needed him to pitch his butt off. So.
Right, and keep in mind, Lincoln's first title since 2005.
20 years?
20
almost?
Years.
Oh, my God, dude, 20 years?
2005, what were you doing?
2005, like in 3rd grade or something like that? 2nd grade? I know I was in the Philippines back in 2005. I didn't come here yet until like 2006.
2006, okay.
So
I want to say 3rd grade.
Yeah, probably third
grade,
right?
Maybe end of 2nd grade.
Probably, yeah.
Something like that. I can't remember. It was so
20
long
years ago, man.
I know.
Oh, man.
But with the OAL, we had Oakland Tech taking home the OAL title. So
again,
they go on to punch their ticket to the NorCal.
That's right.
Brackets, whether it's 1 through 5, we'll find that out later on next week.
They will be D5 most likely.
Okay.
Them and Lincoln.
Okay.
I think so.
Could you see these two teams face each other?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it happened last year with Tech and Lowell, right? They ended up playing each other, and they ended up playing at SF State. So yeah, there is a possibility. I mean, I really do think that. Both of these teams will be in the D5 bracket. Just, their schedule and their league not as good as other.
When you shot Oakland Tech a couple weeks ago against Skyline, what impressed you the most with this Bulldog squad?
They're scrappy, man. They're a scrappy team. And I think it was Elijah Rucker.
Yep.
Had a great game on the mound. And you know what? It's always going to be Oakland Tech. They will always be the favorites to win every year in the Oakland League. But, again, congratulations anyway to Skyline for a great season to get this far, right? And that's not easy.
Nope,
not
not
an
at
easy
all.
road.
Not at all.
But yeah, shout out to Tech.
Yeah, Elijah Rucker, great game. 5 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. He also delivered an RBI in that game,
That's
as a
right,
matter
yeah.
of fact. Elias Thompson slammed the door, pitching the last 2 innings to get the job done for those Bulldogs. Year after year, Oakland Tech, they continue to prove why they're the best in the OAL.
Absolutely.
And here was another great example of that. And
Yeah.
congratulations to them as they're punching their ticket to NorCal's.
Yep.
So that's that.
Yes.
And we still have more business to talk about with the postseason.
Yes.
But first, I want to get to your polls
All right, man.
because we've had chaos.
Oh my God, we had chaos for both polls, man. So, all right, here we go. De La Salle number 1 again.
Okay.
Valley Christian number 2, Sarah number 3, Los Gatos 4, Granada number 5. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Menlo Atherton 6, Foothill 7, St. Francis back at number 8, College Park number 9, and St. Ignatius goes all the way down to number 10.
We had Granada at number 1 last week.
Yes. And that was a debate in the office, at least for between the both of us.
Right. After they won the East Bay League
After they won the
tournament
East Bay League title. That's right.
And then the day after, because at one point you had Los Gatos at number 1.
Yes, at one point I did have Los Gatos at number 1. Just they have not lost in 2 months before losing to Wilcox last week. So that's why I considered Los Gatos at number 1. Then I came to my senses. You know what? Okay, what everyone's saying in the office is right. Granada should be the number 1 team. East Bay League, much tougher league, and Los Gatos ended up losing to Wilcox. So there goes my my argument.
It just it was all
Just made it easy for me.
Yeah, it was all coming together.
Exactly, everything fell into place.
But then we had playoffs.
Oh my God!
And Casa Grande, the 9 seed, heads to Livermore to face Granada,
And they beat Granada.
our best team in the Bay Area, entering last week.
Wow.
And Casa Grande gets the job done, beating those Matadors 3-2.
And you know what? You can officially call them the Road Warriors. I mean, think about this. They had to go to Dublin in the first round,
Yep,
beat Dublin.
8 seed.
8 seed. They had to go they had to go to Livermore, past Dublin, go to Livermore, beat Granada on the road,
Top seed.
the number 1 seed in the D-1 bracket, and now they got to go to Pleasant Hill, not as far, but they still have to travel to Pleasant Hill to play College Park in the semifinal round. They are the Road Warriors,
That's
man.
going to be a very interesting game.
It will man.
Is that on Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday.
Okay. Very interesting game over there. And the winner of that game will face the winner of the De La Salle Foothill game. That's also an interesting game.
That is
And we're
also
gonna
an
be-
interesting game.
We're going to be covering that game on our show.
Yep, Robert will be there.
Yep, Robert will be there. And, what the question is for that game, what kind of Foothill team are we going to see? Because the Foothill team that I saw last week, they dominated Liberty.
Yeah.
And, I think they really took their anger out in Brentwood because this was because you got to keep in mind, you're a 3 seed.
And they had to
You
travel
would
all the way
think
to
you
Liberty.
would be hosting. No, that's not the case. They had to face Liberty that was a 14 seed. Now, I get it. I get the fact that if you're a league champion, you get to host. I like that. But
I get that. I
them
get that
be if you're going to put Liberty as the lowest, like as a 14 seed, put them as the lowest seed possible to host.
So, like,
which
maybe like an
it would
8
be
seed,
an 8
right?
seed, right?
Yeah, I mean,
You get where I'm coming from?
yes, me personally, I don't think, just because you're a league champion, I don't think you should host, right? If you're the 14th seed, league champion or not, you're the 14th seed. You should be traveling, right? And the CCS doesn't do this, I believe, right? They don't, just because you win league, you're not hosting a game. There were times where one year, my junior year, we won the league title. We didn't host a playoff game. We had to go to Westmont,
Right.
who did not win a league title, I believe, that season, when we had to go to Westmont, right? So I see arguments from both sides. Me personally, I think winning a league title should not justify you to host a playoff game. Even though technically, if you do, you're the away team. You're still gonna bat first because Foothill was the home team.
Technically, right?
Yeah, so it just gets.
But it's
confusing.
home field, though.
Yeah,
It's home field.
It's
Foothill
just
still
a
had to
mess.
travel all the way to Brentwood
Exactly.
as a 3 seed, and you don't see that often.
No, I mean,
Like in football, this happened, I believe, in the D2 bracket that Windsor had to go. They were on the road. It was either D2 or D3. They
Yeah.
were technically the higher seed
But they had to
as
travel.
a 3 seed, but they had to travel.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about that. I really don't.
You know, I mean, again, right? We see the arguments from both sides, right?
Right.
You can make a fair case for both. You know, it just, it is what it is with the NCS, and hey, Foothill
But
really,
I will say, Foothill looked great.
They looked
last
good.
week. No question about it. I mean, they can hit. I mean, 1 through 9,
Yes.
they can hit. I mean, this is a really talented team. And as a matter of fact, they have faced De La Salle twice.
Yep.
The first meeting, you actually
was
covered
there.
that game in Concord.
yes, I was.
And it came down to a walk-off. And
I think that's the key for Foothill, right? They need to really, get into it, right? Gotta score first. And I don't know who's gonna pitch.
could be Take.
It could be Take, right? We'll see what happens, but they need to score first. They need to jump on De La Salle
Right.
pitching immediately. I mean,
Yeah.
the Spartans offensively, they're hot right now. I mean,
They
they
are.
scored 25 runs last week. 25 runs last week. I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah, they rolled past Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh
and they
and-
rolled past Petaluma.
yeah. So now you also need to limit De La Salle at the plate as well, right?
Right.
That's a big part of it. That's
Yeah.
a big part of it. Can you find a way to cool down the bats? Really, really.
Blair's starting to get hot. Spangler's been rolling all
Exactly.
season long, and there's a reason why he was our baseball player of the
That's
year.
right.
So De La Salle's good. They're very talented. I agree that they are the number 1 team.
They're the
entering
number
this
1 team
week.
now.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm jealous. I'm jealous about that game.
Hey,
I
Robert's
really
got
was.
it.
Yeah,
The
Robert's
boss
got
man.
it though.
Yep.
Robert's got it.
But talk about some of these other teams, 8 through 10. So St. Francis, they really had to make a statement in Pacifica
Yes.
on Saturday in the first round to take down SI. And then College Park,
Beat
this is a
Heritage, yeah.
team. We covered them against Heritage. It was Robert covered this game, and it was a walk-off hit
yep.
by pitch. And then
What an
College Park-
anticlimactic way to
Right.
end a great game. But hey, again, a win is a win at the end of the day.
and the game
right?
after they beat Clayton Valley.
And
Talk
they-
about with College Park. What will it take for them to get to that title game?
just gotta pitch well, man.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta pitch well, and you really gotta execute offensively, right? Listen, Casa Grande, man. These boys are on fire right now. I mean,
Right.
they had to travel to Dublin and Livermore last week, and they beat Dublin and Granada. Beating Granada is not no easy task.
Right.
On the road too.
Yeah.
On the road, right? Granada or College Park really has to pitch well and really execute offensively.
What are some bubble teams that could possibly get to that 10 spot by the end of this week? What about teams that are
so
like
hard.
in CCS D1 or D2 or NCS D1 or D2? Do you have any teams in mind that could take that 10 spot by the end of the week if they go on to win a title?
That's really tough, man. I mean, I don't know, actually. Oh my God. It's tough because Lee, who was on the poll, lost to Cappuccino, right? So they
Yeah.
were out of the poll. It's really tough right now, and it's so unpredictable. Off the top of my head, I cannot give you an answer. This is the first time all season that's happened,
Right.
right? Because you just playoffs, you lose, you're done, right? So
Right.
it's a tough question to answer. I'll leave it
Okay.
with that.
Okay. No, it should be interesting.
Yes.
Make our way to softball.
All right, softball's even a little bit crazy, but here we go. Willow Glen 1, St. Francis 2, Liberty 3, Cappuccino 4, Valley Christian 5, Livermore 6, Carondelet 7, Foothill 8, California 9, Live Oak 10. Castro Valley out of the poll.
Okay. For some that are wondering, so this is a solid poll. This is solid.
Yeah.
I will say. I mean, you load up with the East Bay League teams, and then there's a reason why that was the toughest league in all of softball.
Yeah.
And I think it's the toughest league in all of NorCal softball, as a matter of fact.
Yeah,
So
that's a solid argument. Yeah, that's a solid argument.
yeah, I mean, so you got Carondelet
Yes.
at 7. Foothill is at 8.
Yes.
Carondelet is a D2 team in the NCS.
Yes.
You have Foothill right behind them, and they're competing at D1. As a matter of fact, Foothill has some great wins last week. Why do you still have Carondelet over Foothill?
I think their performance in league play this year kind of hurts them in terms of being number 8 and Carondelet being number 7. Listen, Carondelet won the regular season title, and they were in the East Bay League tournament.
Okay.
So, and also again, they should have been in D1. They got some luckies, or not luck. I shouldn't say lucky, but they got fortunate enough to slide down to D2 and as a high seed. And again, Foothill, Castro Valley, yeah, that was a big win for Foothill, right? And beating California, and they lost to Cal last week too, so that's also probably the reason why.
And that game was in extra innings, though. That was a close
game. The first game or the second game?
The second game.
Yeah, that's right.
The second game, it was close.
I believe so, yes.
Now, let me ask you this. By the end of the week, let's say both teams, both Foothill and Carondelet, they win their semifinal games.
Yes.
So Foothill, they had the Brentwood to take on Liberty, who's playing some wonderful softball, who went on to beat San Marin last Friday. If Foothill beats Liberty and Carondelet beats James Logan, would you put Foothill over Carondelet because of that matchup in terms of a strength of schedule?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, beating Liberty, who is our number 3 team. So and
number 1 in the NCS.
Think about this. So now, if you really look at this, right, at the end of the week, if Foothill does make it to the final, they would have beaten Castro Valley, California, and Liberty.
Right.
Very respectable enough for them to jump on Carondelet.
Carondelet's got James Logan, another good team.
They're a good team.
Solid.
They're a solid team, although, I mean, their league is too weak, right? And they also lost to
compared
Newark
to the
Memorial.
East Bay.
When you compare it to the East Bay League, it's like,
there's still some talent. I mean,
there's some talent. They're a good team.
You look at Newark Memorial, solid team.
Newark's a good team, you know. So,
but again, it's not the East Bay.
It's not the East Bay League.
Right.
Not the East Bay League.
Live Oak, number 10.
Live Oak, number 10.
Santa Teresa League champs.
Well, Mills unfortunately lost.
Were you thinking Notre Dame Belmont should go on this list? What made you put Live Oak? Notre Dame Belmont's a bubble team.
Belmont is definitely a bubble team. Man, Live Oak, I mean, they dominated league play.
They did.
So I think that was good enough. I mean, Belmont and Mills splitting the league title also hurts. So
yep.
That's why I put Live Oak for now.
Okay.
But again, we'll see what happens at the end of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also keep in mind those leagues are considered B leagues.
Yes, that's
Santa
right.
Teresa and the Peninsula Ocean.
Yes.
So considered B. I see it. I think Live Oak is really good. And I saw this team a couple weeks ago when they shot Piedmont Hills, and that was a game where they needed to win in order to clinch the league title.
Yep.
And that was a game that, great defense left and right. Pitching was solid. And, it was the pitching. It just came to a point where you just need to, do your job, throw strikes, and just trust your defense.
Exactly.
When you have great fielders out there of Kayla Tulowitzki, who's dominating second. She was featured for her
Play of the Week.
Yeah.
Play of the Week winner and D-line defensive Play of the Week winner.
Yeah. When she's making plays like that, you're in good hands as a pitcher.
Not All-State?
No, not All-State.
Okay.
No, trying to throw a sponsor in there, Age. But yeah, Live Oak is a really good team.
Yes.
They play some great softball. Was I a little shocked that they were placed at the D1 bracket? I didn't see that coming. I thought they were going to be D2. But
that's a tough one. That's a really tough one, right?
But you know what? Hey, if they continue to find ways to win, I'm all for it.
Was Saratoga in D1?
Saratoga was in D1.
Okay,
They
so
were the
then
3 seed.
If Toga was in D1, then Live Oak should be D1.
Well, Saratoga's really good. They beat Mills.
Yeah.
That's another bubble team, in my opinion.
Toga, no. Toga's league is.
But if you beat Mills, it's a quality win.
It is a good win, especially at this point in the season. It's the playoffs, man. It's like
I get
whatever
it.
happens, yeah. Are they a bubble team?
If Saratoga makes a run and captures the D1 title,
then they'll be a bubble team.
You want to put them on the poll?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see. We will see. That's why I just said bubble team.
Okay.
Like outside looking in, because man, there's a lot of teams they have to jump over.
Okay.
So, one of those teams being Live Oak and Belmont.
Okay. All right.
So there you go.
I understand it. I understand.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Okay.
Tough one.
So I just created this morning. We're going to have a segment called Surprised or Not Surprised.
Okay, I like this.
I'm going to give you some questions.
Okay.
And I'll chime in with some of my thoughts
all right.
With this. And just all throughout what's with the seedings, with the games that we've had. Just a variety of different things with baseball and softball. Are we surprised or are we not surprised?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so number 1, Granada baseball being eliminated in the NCS D1 quarterfinal round. Surprised or not surprised?
Not surprised. All season long, I've said which Granada team will show up. Is it the Granada team that was dominant against De La Salle in the East Bay League final? Or is it the Granada team that struggled to hit against Foothill and St. Ignatius early on and Alameda baseball early on? So I'm not surprised. They have good pitching, but if you can't hit, well, they were hitting. They were hitting, but they could not get the big hit, number one. And 4 errors. You cannot expect to win a game if you commit 4 errors. And that's what ended up doing him in.
I'm gonna say surprised. Honestly, I didn't see this coming, and I know Casa Grande is a very good team, baseball team. Yeah. There's no question about it. But I mean, this is a team going into the season, coming off last year. They had the marvelous run of winning an NCS title. They went on to win a NorCal title, and you have those expectations where you want to get back to the promised land.
Exactly.
I didn't expect it to come this early. And I knew that there were some, they had their struggles with hitting. I mean, you talk about that 1-0 game that they had to Livermore.
Yeah.
And you talk about the game
against
Alameda. Yeah. And I believe Foothill, they split.
Foothill,
they
lost to Foothill the first game.
So, I mean, I didn't see that coming. I thought you could say, I would understand it if they were eliminated in the semifinals. Yeah. Because if they were eliminated in the semifinals, they would still be in NorCals, if I recall correctly.
No, I don't think
if you're in
so.
D1.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think if you're in D1, you still get a NorCal bid.
I don't remember.
It wouldn't be in D1 for NorCals. It would probably be D2.
I thought it was just if you made the final. We got to check that.
With some brackets. Yeah. But to me, I was surprised. I didn't see it coming, honestly. Yeah. But, Casa Grande was the better team that day, and they really showed up being those Matadors 3-2.
And that's why it's so important.
Baseball can be a brutal sport.
It's kind to one, and it's so cruel to another. I mean, but again, that's what it is with the one game, man. That's it. You better be on your game, or someone's going to come in and knock you off your pedestal. And that's exactly what happened with Casa Grande and Granada.
Okay. Next question.
Okay.
Cappuccino baseball upsetting Lee in the first round of the D2 CCS playoffs. Surprised or not surprised?
Surprised. I mean, Lee has played really good baseball all season long, and nothing against Cappuccino. Cappuccino has played great baseball too, and their league is respectable, but I did not see Cap beating Lee just because, Lee's been so well coached all year, and they played really, really good baseball, and they played St. Francis close earlier this year. So, again, very, very surprised that this happened.
I'm going to say not surprised.
Okay.
And the reason why is, yes, Lee is a very talented baseball team. That's a really tough division, the Mount Hamilton League. Don't get me wrong. Peninsula Bay is right there, in my opinion.
They're neck and neck.
And the
I would
fact
say, yeah.
that Cappuccino finished second in the Peninsula Bay division, but you got to keep in mind, a lot happened the following week, like with the Dub Cal playoffs, with Bellarmine winning the tournament title.
Essentially played themselves.
If that
into
doesn't
D1
happen,
bracket.
Lee
would be
is a D1 team.
Lee would have been the number 6 seed.
Possibly.
Over Bellarmine. But again, with Bellarmine winning the tournament title, right, you're not going to put Bellarmine in D2. You're going to put him in D1.
And one of the things that I'm saying that I'm not surprised about this was that Lee had some tough losses too.
Yes.
They did have some games where it's like, okay, they lost to Santa Clara.
I think they lost to Christopher one time.
They
too.
did. They split Christopher
see,
towards the end of the season. But Christopher's not a bad team.
Christopher's not a bad team.
They are not a bad team.
No.
And I saw them against Pally, and they looked really sharp, in my opinion. They got Carmel in the semifinal round on Tuesday. But, I mean, losing the Santa Clara, that was a little bit head-scratching for me. I did not see that coming. And
they had a big lead, too, coming into that game, like in the 7th inning.
Well, Lee was up 3-0 against Cap, entering the top of the 4th. And then Cappuccino scores, I believe, 5 unanswered.
Away, man. Yeah,
and
they chipped away.
5-3 was the final. So, I mean, I'm going to say...
not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised with that. Okay, next up. The 12th seed, Freedom Falcons. They're still alive. D3.
Yeah.
Surprised or not surprised?
Not surprised. Freedom played, I think they split Pittsburgh. And I think the first game against Heritage, they stayed with Heritage.
Okay.
Now again, I'm not surprised. Especially with the matchups. No disrespect for Logan, but I think Freedom was a better team than Logan, in my opinion. And then who did they play? El Cerrito?
2-0 was the final.
They're better than El Cerrito, I think, in my opinion. Right? El Cerrito is in a very, very weak league. Right? Again, being in the Bay Valley League and playing Heritage, Pitt, and Liberty, hey, really toughens you, gets you playoff ready.
Yeah, I mean, Freedom's playing some wonderful baseball.
They are.
And they're on a run. I mean, you got to find some sort of momentum. And, it's when it comes to the playoffs, it's never going to be easy. No. It's never going to be pretty. That's just what the postseason is. You just have to do enough to advance.
Exactly.
And Freedom in that case, they did that. And they showed that against James Logan in the first round. We covered that game.
They were down to their last out.
Right.
They were down to their last out, and they beat Logan in 8 innings.
Right. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised, man.
I'm not surprised. I mean, this team can fight. I'm more surprised of how low seeded they are, but I'm not surprised that they're still alive, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. And again, what you said, not easy. Well, this is no easy task. They're playing Cal tomorrow for the semifinals. Yep. Not an easy game.
Yep. Okay. Let's move over to softball.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Surprised or not surprised, Liberty softball ranked number 1 in D1 for the NCS.
I am not surprised, and let me tell you why. You just look at the East Bay League and everyone beating each other up. Right? There you go. That's all the reasoning that needs to be said. Right? I mean, again, Carondelet beat Cal on the final day of league play, and then Cal goes on. Livermore goes on to beat Cal in the East Bay League tournament final. So again, not surprised at all that Liberty is the number 1 seed in the NCS D1 bracket.
I think going into this season, if I asked you this question or if you asked me, I would say surprised. But, with what they're doing right now, what they did in the Stampede to place 4th overall in a really tough tournament, and with them dominating league and they're off to a great start in the postseason, I'm going to say not surprised.
No, not
Liberty
surprised.
has hitters 1 through 9.
And Kelsey Skaggs, pretty damn good pitcher too.
That's Kate Skinner.
Oh, Kate Skinner. Oh,
yep.
Sorry.
Kate
Sorry,
Skinner,
Kate. Sorry,
the
Kate.
outstanding
Kate Skinner,
lefty.
really good pitcher.
Kelsey plays shortstop.
Okay. I got
no, it's okay.
The Kate and the Kelsey mix.
That's okay. But, yeah, there's no surprise
No surprise.
But, I mean, if, like I said, going into this season, it's like, no, it's probably going to be a a team from the East Bay League.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, with the Stampede, with with Liberty beating Cal,
No, not surprised at all.
that showed up, and then placing 4th, dominating the league, and yeah, I'm not surprised.
No.
Liberty's a really, really good team.
They are a good team, and they are the favorite to win the NCS D1 bracket.
Yep. Okay. Carondelet softball D2 team. Surprised or not surprised? Carondelet softball.
I'm not surprised.
Really?
Not surprised. Listen, Carondelet has had some great wins this year, but they've also had some losses. I'll keep it at that. And them not being able to take care of business against who did they play? Foothill? Was it Foothill in the tournament semifinal? Livermore. So not being able to take care of Livermore in the tournament semi does hurt them to go from D1 to D2. Not surprised at all. And honestly, I think this is the right bracket for them. Carondelet, if they want to win a section title, this is the right bracket for them. Because if you look at everyone in D1, I mean, that's a bloodbath in D1. Just the quality of teams.
Okay. I'm going to say surprised.
Okay.
And the reason why I say this is because they were competing with the top dogs in the East Bay League.
That's right.
And as a matter of fact, they only lost 2 games in the regular season for league play.
Yeah.
And they went on to win, technically, the regular season East Bay League title before the tournament took place. They can compete with these teams. I was really surprised that they were a Division II team. But like you said, if I'm Carondelet, I'm not complaining.
No,
That's a really good spot for them for Division II.
I will say this, though. I guess you can call this part as a surprise. San Ramon being in D1 and Carondelet being in D2, considering Carondelet, I think, beat San Ramon Valley twice this year, if I'm not mistaken. And you shot one of those games.
Yep.
So I guess when you put it in that perspective, yes, I'm surprised that SRV is in D1 and Carondelet is in D2. But in terms of Carondelet just being in D2, not surprised.
Yeah, I gotta say, I gotta say surprised. I didn't see that one coming, but if I'm Carondelet, I ain't complaining.
No, I'm not complaining either, man.
I ain't complaining.
Not complaining.
Okay, last question. Foothill softball as the 12th seed, making it to the D1 semifinals. Surprised, not surprised?
Very surprised. And again, not taking anything away from Foothill, right? But you look at this team, it's like, where is their pitching, right? Pitching, like Aubrey said a couple months ago, you need to have the pitching to really, really get far into the season. And, they played Castro Valley, and, Castro Valley, shutting down Castro is not easy to do, especially with our pitcher of the year, Alanis Robertson, pitching in the circle for the Trojans, right? So that in itself, I feel like, is very surprising. A 2-0 game against Castro. Especially now, the California game, I'm not that surprised. I mean, it's the East Bay League. These two teams know each other so well. But yeah, Foothill making it to the semifinals as the 12th seed, I'm very, very surprised, and I'm very, very impressed.
I'm impressed, but I'm not surprised. And the reason why I say that is because Foothill and Castro Valley faced each other early on in the regular season.
Yeah.
Foothill won 6-5. Foothill has seen Castro Valley. Experience, it goes a long way. So I'm not surprised that Foothill went on to beat Castro Valley at Castro Valley 2-0. So I'm really not surprised with that. And as a matter of fact, I'm not surprised Foothill beat Cal.
I'm not surprised with Foothill beating Cal.
In the East Bay League tournament, that was a close game. It went to extra innings. You got to keep that in mind. Yep. So for me, I'm not surprised at all. So when that was extra innings, it's like, okay, Foothill can play with Cal.
Yeah.
They can show up. And look what they did in the second round of the quarterfinals. They went on to beat Cal 3-2.
And this is the point of the season where you really need to get hot. This is it right here, right? You lose, your season's over.
Right.
You lose, your season's over. You want to keep winning. This is the time to really get hot at the plate and in the circle.
Perfect. So, what are you looking forward to the most with the postseason?
Well,
or let me say, what are you looking forward to this week? Let's not talk about NorCal's yet.
Yeah, we don't know about NorCal's yet. I want to see Sarah Valley Christian in the CCS Division I final. I mean, I know private school against private school, I get it, but Sarah Valley, they split the season series this year, and man,
don't sleep on LG.
I'm not sleeping on LG, but man, Valley Christian, again, just the experience, right? With John Diotti over there and his coaching staff. I mean, they know what it takes to get the job done. But yeah, I would really like to see Sarah and Valley Christian. And I'm not shooting the game, but I'd like to see Foothill Livermore in the NCS D1 final, which was supposed to be our Chick-fil-A game earlier this year. Circumstances did not allow that to happen, and now here we are. We get a chance to have that as our Chick-fil-A game this week.
I'm excited for that Foothill Liberty game. I'm really excited for that game. I think that's going to be a very close game.
I believe so too.
I couldn't tell you who's going to win that game.
It's hard to predict,
and either way, I'm not going to give you a pick, but I'm just saying that's going to be a really good game. I'm also looking forward to the Cappuccino Willow Glen semifinal.
Oh my God, that's another good game.
That's going to be an amazing game, and don't be surprised if that game goes to extra innings and the game ends in 10 innings. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
This is going to be the war of attrition with Willow Glen and Cap, man. It's like it's so hard to count to bet against Alana Clancy. I mean, she's been so dominant in the circle all year. Man, I cannot believe it's already almost championship weekend.
I know. And then for baseball, if you ask me, I would have to say I'm looking forward. Let's see what Freedom can do. Can they keep it rolling?
Does the shoe fit?
Does the shoe
fit? And don't forget, too, in that division, Northgate is in the semifinal as the 10th seed. I believe they are in D3 as well. So I would like to see Freedom Northgate, man. That's a championship game that I don't think anybody.
But in order for that to happen, Freedom needs to take down top-seeded Cal on Tuesday. I'll be covering that game. That'll be a very interesting NCS D3 semifinal.
Absolutely, man. Oof. Championship week. We're almost there, Jake. We're almost there to the NorCals.
We're almost there.
God.
But, we're here for this.
Yes.
Our views from the lens.
This is so hard because, our views for the lens is not the Casa Grande Granada game, right? And we had a lot of walk-offs last week.
If Aubrey was with us on the pod.
Oh, absolutely, that would be her view from the lens. And she had a walk-off too with Cappuccino Valley Christian.
Right.
But I'm going to go with the Kings Academy walking it off against Hollister in 9 innings. I mean, this was a pitcher's duel. I mean, everyone was both pitchers were dealing.
Yep.
Katia Nesper from TKA, 18 strikeouts. 18 strikeouts, Jake. 18. And TKA was down 2-0, and they chipped away, man. And I remember Joe Maymon. I hope I did not say his name right, but the AD from TKA, he was like, thank you for coming out. And I told him, it's so hard picking these games. You just don't know which games will be good games, which games will be blowout. It's shot in dark.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. And hey, man, we picked the right games, the right CCS games to shoot this past weekend.
We also picked some good NCS games.
Yeah, we had some good NCS games.
I gotta take one from Aubrey's game with Granada Alameda.
Oh, that's another walk-off.
This is an Alameda walk-off where Maddie Yoon steps up to the plate, shoots one up the middle.
Unbelievable.
To win the game. They were down 5-1 going into the bottom of the 7th. That is crazy. That is crazy. When you got the momentum at that time, things can get real dangerous.
It's just, come playoff time, it's like, hey man, it's you just never know, man. You give it everything you got and hope the ball falls your way, right? I mean,
And it did that time.
My God, man. I mean, we had a lot of walk-offs.
We did.
And we had a couple upsets, right? Nikon had that Freedom Logan game.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I mean, down to their final out, and Freedom goes on to tie the game in the 7th and win it in the 8th inning, right? It's so hard. It's so hard to not pick certain games because we just don't have the manpower or the time on the show to put it on the show. It's so tough. Like Midi Woolaglen softball, 1-0 game, right? 1-0 game.
Notre Dame, Belmont, Piedmont Hills.
Notre Dame, Belmont, Piedmont Hills,
2-1.
right? Mills and Saratoga softball, another good game, right? It's just so hard to. I mean, Branham and Mountain View baseball, I believe. Branham pulled off the upset. It's just insanity. What we're just, man.
Yeah.
I just
This is the time of year.
I wish I can cut my body into like 5 pieces so I can shoot 5 games. Seriously, man. It's just they're all good games, man. And
That's one way to put it.
Yeah,
That's one way to put it. I wasn't expecting you to cut off all 5 of your body parts.
I mean, I'll clone myself 5 times. I don't care, man. It's just so many good games. So many good games. So.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be one heck of a ride to the finish line for these section title games.
Here we go.
And then next week, we got NorCal. And we'll be back next week. And that is going to be our final episode.
Final episode?
It is.
Oh
next
my
week
God,
will be
no
our
way.
final
That's our
episode.
Final episode?
Yeah.
Dang, bro. This is already June?
Hey, time goes by when you're having fun.
Absolutely.
But, hey, let me just say this. Safe to say, you've been covered.
That's right.